Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. I'm Vidya Nagarajan, and I am the lead product manager for Google's Cloud Identity product line. And with me today, I have my colleague Ravi, as well as our wonderful partner, Papercut. So here's our agenda for this afternoon. We're going to go over what Cloud Identity is. We'll give you a preview of what's coming and what's new. We'll also go through some exciting demos. And we'll go through a sample customer case study, and we'll end this session with some Q&A. And most of all, we also have some exciting giveaways at the end of the session, so please do stay on. So as a mother of two young girls, it's pretty amazing to see how the generation of today, especially the millennials or the iGen, have vastly different expectations from what I had growing up. So technology has come a really long way in the last 20 years. I still remember there was a time when my computer at work was a lot better than what I had at home, and the internet connectivity at work was a lot better than what I had at home. And in fact, I used to go to work because that was what the security boundaries defined it to be, and I knew no better. However, today's generation, on the contrary, expects flexibility. They expect convenience. They want to be able to work from anywhere, from any location, and from any device. So the workplace as we know it is truly undergoing a massive transformation. And you as IT decision makers are at the forefront of this so that you can create a connected and a collaborative workspace. And identity and access management is at the heart of all of this. So we're living in a perimeterless or an edgeless world. The enterprise secure perimeter is no longer the front door of your office, but now it is elastic and it's dispersed. It's wrapped around each user and each device. And those users are not just your employees, but they're your vendors, they're your contractors, they're your partners, and they're your customers. And every one of these users has unique needs. They require to access different information, different applications, from different places and on different devices. So clearly a different approach to identity and security is the need for the day. Existing approaches for identity and access management have been very complex and time-consuming. And these approaches have been built for the on-premise world. They are not optimized for the cloud-ready world. So with more and more users requesting access for more data on more devices, IT administrators truly have a challenge ahead of them. They need to be able to maintain a network of different applications, different user accounts, and different devices. And shadow IT is indeed a huge challenge, but therein also lies our opportunity. So here comes Cloud Identity, and here comes BeyondCorp. So Google has been a pioneer of the BeyondCorp enterprise security model. It started as an internal Google initiative in the year 2011, with the motivation that every employee can work from untrusted networks with flexibility and convenience without the need to set up cumbersome and complex VPN networks. So BeyondCorp essentially shifts the access controls from the network perimeter to that of each individual user and device, thereby allowing employees to work even more secure than ever before. So this transforms your work into a truly edgeless or a perimeterless world. So we built Cloud Identity to enable and bring this BeyondCorp vision to reality. It provides organizations with a single pane of glass for complete visibility, as well as unified administration of your people, devices, and applications. Cloud Identity has been that engine that fuels and powers G Suite as well as GCP for many years. And we just launched it standalone earlier this year, and it's been used by many millions of customers over the last few years. So Cloud Identity has been designed around the core pillars of being secure, smart, and simple. People, devices, applications, directory, and extensible APIs are the first-class citizens under a unified administration UI. People, devices, and context. This is your new security perimeter. Organizations can now create and define policies, and they can enforce them in order to control and govern what type of access your users need to the information. And all of this happens very dynamically. It's based on the user's identity and the context of the originating request. So while cloud identity accelerates the use of cloud-centric application models, it also offers capabilities to meet organizations where they are in their cloud journey with your on-premise identity and access systems as well as infrastructure. So let's first talk about the people. So with cloud identity, enterprises can automatically provision user accounts into Google's Cloud Directory using APIs. These accounts can be automatically provisioned into third-party cloud apps using a feature that we call as auto-provisioning, and this provides both end user as well as IT administrator convenience. Now, Google protects all cloud identity accounts against account compromise or takeover or hijacking. And we do this through the use of machine learning intelligence from over 8 services with 1 billion plus 30-day active users. Cloud Identity offers multiple options to protect your user accounts using strong authentication. We use methods like two-step verification, push notifications, one-time passwords, password alerts, and for the longest time, we have advocated the use of security keys as the strongest, most phishing-resistant authentication factor for your high-value users. So customers have told us that it can be hard to source and to roll out security keys. So back in July, we announced the Titan Security Key. And this is a FIDO-based security key that includes firmware that has been developed by Google to verify its integrity. So Titan Security Keys are available today in the US through the Google Store, as well as through the Google Cloud Reps. And we are working to make them available in Europe, here in Europe in the near future. So Cloud Identity also includes something called the Security Center. And the Security Center comprises of different components such as security health, security dashboards and investigation tools. And all these different tools and components are used to enable the administrator to go through different phases of prevention to detection to remediation. So we have offered our identity and access management capabilities for your employees for many years. Today, we are excited to extend these capabilities to your customers and partners as well, with a new tool that we call as Cloud Identity for customers and partners. So it is a customer identity and access management platform that is delivered by Google Cloud and that can help developers to add enterprise-grade identity and access management functionality to their apps, to protect user accounts, and to scale with confidence. So CICP, as we very fondly call it, will be available in public beta in the next few weeks. Cloud Identity also provides enterprises with the flexibility to meet their unique operational and compliance requirements. So context-aware access brings together the many elements of Google's BeyondCorp vision for apps and services on Google Cloud and beyond. So as I mentioned earlier, user, device, and context is the new security parameter. Context-aware access allows organizations to create and enforce policies that allow granular access of cloud resources. These cloud resources can be GCP workloads, they can be your G Suite applications, or they can be third-party SaaS applications. And these are based on a user's identity and the context of their request, using attributes such as the device state or IP address. So an organization may want to support the following types of scenarios. So for example, I may want to just have temporary workers who can access data only from the corporate network. Or you may say that your full-time employees can work from anywhere and from any device, provided your device has got screen locks and the disk is encrypted. Or you could say that your traveling employees cannot access apps from locations that are deemed to have a high risk profile. So Cloud Identity provides you with the flexibility that you need, and you can tune it and cater it to meet your own unique organization, regulatory and compliance requirements. So context-aware access capabilities are available for organizations in public data on Cloud IAP as well as IAM, and we are working to enable these capabilities across VPC service controls and Cloud Identity Next. So now let's talk about devices. So Cloud Identity helps organizations enforce policies consistently across multiple endpoints. Admins can enforce screen locks, they can create passcodes, they can wipe corporate data, they can view and search for devices and get a device inventory, they can export the details, and they can do a lot of this functionality truly without the need of an installed agent of the device. And this is something which we call as an agentless experience to protect your corporate data while ensuring that your users are productive and have the flexibility and convenience. It works across both Android and iOS devices, and you can also manage Chrome browser policies across the various endpoints. So we're happy to say that device management functionality of Cloud Identity supports more than 10 million 30-day active devices under management. This is a stat that has been approved as of July, so we probably have a lot more right now. And Google was named a 2018 Gartner Peer Insights Customer Choice for Enterprise Mobility Management Suite. So this was something that was voted by the consumers. We're also very happy to announce the general availability for Google Endpoint Verification. Google Endpoint Verification extends Google's Beyond Corp vision by giving administrators an overview of the security posture of your company-owned or your BYOD laptops and desktops. So admins can manage various attributes such as your OS version, your encryption status, or even enforce access decisions. We're also happy to announce the general availability of the Drive File Stream Management. Admins can now manage Drive File Stream on macOS and Windows devices with Cloud Identity and take appropriate actions. And as part of our roadmap, Cloud Identity will soon be extended to manage and protect macOS and Windows 10 devices. Now let's talk about applications. Cloud Identity comes with a very rich catalog of over thousands of federated applications that support standards such as SAML and OIDC. Also in the roadmap is support for applications that do not support federated standards, and this is something that we call as password-based single sign-on. So this was a feature that came as a result of our acquisition of Bitium last year, and with this will be a key feature that is integrated into Cloud Identity. So now, while the adoption of SaaS-based applications continues to grow, many businesses still rely on traditional on-premise LDAP applications and infrastructure. Secure LDAP in Cloud Identity is an LDAP as a service that allows you to manage access to your SaaS applications and your traditional LDAP-based applications using a single identity and access management platform. So what this means is that you as a user can use the same Cloud Identity credentials to log into your on-prem applications, and admins can now get an awesome experience managing all of your SaaS applications and your on-prem LDAP applications from a single place. It lowers complexity and cost, and lastly, it lowers dependency on your on-premise legacy infrastructure investments. So we're very excited also to announce that Secure LDAP feature will be rolling out to general availability in the coming weeks. So we have a range of partners who are supporting us through our Secure LDAP launch, and we're really excited about this. And these launch partners support a range of enterprise products across developer tools, network and security products, device management, and automation solutions. So a big shout out to our partners. So now with that, I'll pass this on to Ravi, who is going to take us through a really exciting demo of many of the features of Cloud Identity.
Thank you, Vidya. My name is Ravi Kumar, and I'm the product manager in Cloud Identity. So today we're going to look at a quick demo on some of the key components within Cloud Identity, especially focusing on the user management, device management, and also the application management. So this is the Cloud Identity Admin Console, and then we'll start with the user management. So whenever you think about user management, the first thing that comes to your mind is, how do I onboard my users? So by clicking on users here, you'll be able to go to a section where you'll be able to do all your user management, and then you'll be able to start creating your users by clicking on this. So there are 4 ways to create your users. So the first way is simply clicking here and then creating your users right here whenever you want, at will. And then I'm just typing in first name, last name, and then I'll type in password and click on add new users. Boom, that's done. The second way of creating users is in bulk. So you click on this another button here, you pre-fill all your users, passwords, other user information in a spreadsheet. You upload that spreadsheet here and click on upload, and we automatically create users. That's a one-time bulk upload. The third option is to create on an ongoing basis using APIs. So we have a vast comprehensive APIs, and part of that, the directory API, will allow you to create and manage user identities. And then finally, the last option is to use Google Cloud Directory Sync. So this is a synchronization tool that you can point to any of your existing identity sources like Active Directory or other LDAP directories. So now we've done the user onboarding. So what's the next thing that comes to your mind? Account security, right? How do I secure my accounts that I just created? So multi-factor authentication plays an important role in securing your user accounts. In this world of data breaches and phishing and also malicious attacks, multi-factor authentication plays a very important role in order to harden your account security. So now let's quickly see how you can enable multi-factor authentication in Cloud Identity. I'm just selecting the security settings within Cloud Identity, and you'll be able to see the security section here. There are 2 ways to enable multi-factor authentication. The first way is the simpler one. By clicking on this checkbox, you can enable multi-factor authentication in your entire domain so that your users can register at will whenever they want. However, if you want to go one step forward, and if you want to enforce multi-factor authentication on your entire domain, or you can also choose to enforce only on a subset of users within your domain. What I did was I just clicked on the advanced security settings, and in the left-hand side you'll be able to do the fine-grained controls on who gets multi-factor authentication, including the inclusion and exclusion groups. And then also you'll be able to enforce the multi-factor authentication now, or if you want to give your users an opportunity to register in multi-factor authentication, and you can select a future date. So when you enable multi-factor authentication at a future date, the next time when your end users log in, they will see a simple prompt that says, hey, your admin has enforced multi-factor authentication, you better enroll before this particular date, right? So, and also it gives a nice button there. By clicking on it, it takes you through a seamless, easy to use process to enable multi-factor authentication for those accounts. And then the next major control here is you'll be able to select whether you want to enforce security keys, which is the most secure way of doing multi-factor authentication, or you have an option to use any multi-factor authentication that your user chooses. And then finally, you'll be able to enable password recovery. So whenever your users forget passwords, they generally call your help desk, right? So instead of calling a help desk, we are giving a self-service way to recover their passwords so that you can reduce the overhead on your admins in order to answer the calls or reduce the cost on the support calls. So now we quickly wrapped up the user management part. Now let's look at the device management, the second section of the cloud identity. So in device management, we support iOS devices, Android devices, Chrome, and then Jamboard devices using the same console. So you'll be able to start setting up mobile device management by just clicking on Setup, and then with a single click enablement process, you'll be able to secure all your mobile devices to have MDM protection by just clicking here. When you enable, by default, we enable the basic MDM, which is an agentless mobile device management protection, which means that your users, it's very seamless for your users. They don't have to download an app, they don't have to answer any questions. Everything is happening behind the scenes. But if you choose to use advanced mobile device management protections, all you have to do is enable advanced, and then the next time when your users try to access any of your business applications using your mobile phone, they'll be prompted to download an application, and then when they agree, we will automatically push all these advanced MDM settings to your devices. Now, let's look at the last segment, the application management. So you'll be able to click on apps from the home page to see all your applications. We support a variety of applications here, so you'll be able to manage OpenID Connect-based applications. If you have G Suite, you'll be able to manage G Suite applications. You can manage your single sign-on applications, SAML-based, and then most importantly, your on-premise based applications that Vidya was discussing about, the secure LDAP, your LDAP-based applications. So for this particular demo, we'll touch upon the single sign-on and secure LDAP. So let's start configuring single sign-on here. So here's the screen where you'll be able to see your entire list of configured single sign-on, enabled single sign-on in your organization. I'll quickly show you how simple it is to configure single sign-on. When you click on that yellow button, you'll be able to see a pre-integrated list of catalog. So there are hundreds of them. These are completely pre-integrated so that you have little to no configuration that you need to do within Google. And then if you have a custom application, or if you have an application that's not in our catalog, all you have to do is click on set up my own custom application and configure those applications as single sign-on. So for this demo, let me show you how to configure one of the popular project management apps called Asana. So this is the first section where you download the Google Digital Certificate to upload it in Asana so that you can point to Google. Click Next. You see the application name here. Click Next. Since this is a pre-integrated application, we already know the configuration that's related to Asana. So we already pre-filled this information for you, and click on Next. That's it. So it took about 3 steps for you to configure single sign-on within Cloud Identity. The next step is to just enable the single sign-on application for your entire domain or a subset of your domain if you choose. And then the second part for single sign-on is you need to go into Asana and then upload the certificate. So for simplicity's sake, I've already uploaded the certificate. So I wanted to show you how the end users will access single sign-on applications. So they can either access through one of the Google services, if you're in one of the Google services like Gmail or Drive or other applications. All you have to do is click on this app launcher icon, click on more, you'll be able to see all your single sign-on applications here. Or if you choose a full screen version, an application hub, you can access all your single sign-on applications and any other G Suite applications you may have right from this screen. So let me click on Asana here, and then you'll be able to seamlessly access Asana, no usernames, no passwords, simple single sign-on. So the next thing that comes to my mind when I say integrating with third-party SaaS-based applications is, okay, I've got the single sign-on set up, but how do I take care of user accounts? You need to first onboard user accounts in all these applications, right? So whenever you have a new employee, or if your employees are leaving. So you need to take care of user ID creation, modifications, and deletions, not in one single system, but if you have like 10 SaaS applications, you need to go to each and every SaaS application and make these changes in there. This is very tedious and manual, and also error prone. So in order to address that issue, we have something called automated user provisioning and deprovisioning. The way you access automated user provisioning and deprovisioning feature is, again, you go to your list of applications. In this particular example, I'll pick Slack. I already have a single sign-on configured for my Slack, and I want to enable automated provisioning. So I click on user provisioning tab here, and then click on setup user provisioning. The first step is your Slack administrator need to authorize Google to manage those user accounts. So I'm clicking on authorize. So once I authorize, I'll be taken back to Cloud Identity Admin Console to complete the rest of the setup. The second screen shows you the list of user attributes that you want to push. Whenever I create a user ID in Slack, what do I want to push, right? So my username, first name, last name, a bunch of things. So we automatically configure these things based on what Slack is requesting. You can also add more by clicking on show all. And I click here. This is an optional step where you can decide whether you want to do auto provisioning for your entire domain or a set of group of people, and click finish. A simple 3-step process to enable automated user provisioning for your applications. And then when I click on activate provisioning, it starts automated provisioning within a few minutes. Now, this is the last segment of the application manage that we wanted to cover. Last but not the least, Secure LDAP. Secure LDAP provides an easy way to integrate your on-premise LDAP-based applications to connect to cloud identity using secure LDAP protocol for authentication, user lookups, group lookups, and related LDAP activities. So the way you configure LDAP applications, you onboard those applications is by clicking on Add Client. In this particular example, I'm configuring Papercut, which is an enterprise print management solutions, which is an on-premise system. I click on Continue. In this second section, I wanted to configure access permissions, right? So how much you want to expose your directory for Papercut application. If your Papercut application is used by your entire company, then I'd select entire domain. If your Papercut application is exposed only for certain departments or a subset of users, you'll be able to select subset of users here. So in this example, just for simplicity, I'll enable that for entire domain. You'll also be able to make access permission decisions on how much you want to expose for the user lookups or group lookups. In this particular example, Papercut also does the group lookups, so I've enabled group lookups. And then I'm clicking on Add LDAP Client. Within a few seconds, we will onboard this LDAP client. Boom, right there. So within 2 steps, you will be able to onboard your LDAP-based applications right within Google Secure LDAP. Now all I need to do is download this certificate, because we use this digital certificate for authentication. When Papercut tries to talk to us, we look at this digital certificate to authenticate Papercut. And now the second part is you need to go to Papercut and upload this certificate so that you can point this application to Google LDAP directory. In order to do that, this is a Papercut admin console. I selected Google Cloud Directory as one of the directories. I'm typing in my domain name here, and I'm selecting my certificate, which I just downloaded, and then I'm selecting import all my users, and then click on synchronize. So now what Papercut is doing is it's authenticating with our cloud-based LDAP directory, which is Secure LDAP, and it was able to pull all my users and groups information into Papercut. So from an end user perspective, they can walk to any multifunction printer, they can type in their Google credentials, and then they can release printers because we have integrated PaperCut using Secure LDAP. And in case if you have any issues, if you run into any issues in terms of configuration or something is not working right, you can always click on audit logs. So this is where we will show the entire transaction, the history that's happening between PaperCut and Secure LDAP. We will show all those transactions so that you can investigate if there are any issues. You can access these audit reports using the reporting section, and then the LDAP section here. So here, you'll be able to see all the bind operations that's happening, all the user lookups, group lookups, everything that's documented over here. And then to wrap up, this is just, we're just like scratching the surface on what cloud identity can do for you. There are many more capabilities that we're not able to demo here. If you want to learn more, please go to you can see Introduction to Cloud Identity course that we have developed. It's hosted on Coursera. And then also you can look at our website, cloud.google.com/identity. With that, we'll conclude the demo. And then I'd like to invite our wonderful partner, Willem from PaperCut, to share our customer story on how they're using Secure LDAP to integrate their on-premise applications.
Thank you, Rajiv. So, my name is Willem, Product Manager at PaperCut. In the next 5 minutes, I'm going to tell you why Secure LDAP is the best feature Google released this year. Alright, so I did see a couple of people on their phones, and you're probably Googling, who's PaperCut? Well, you know what? PaperCut was founded in 1998 in Melbourne, Australia. In fact, that's the same year Google was founded. Coincidence? Absolutely. So we build print management software. And as my CEO would say, we are the coolest company in the most boring part of IT. So here's a few of our numbers. Our software currently manages 90 million users globally. That is more than the UK. Also, our Mobility Print client runs on 1 million Chromebooks, and we're going to triple that number next year. So this is what we need to deal with. People need to print. So they need to print from Windows machines, MacBook, Chromebook, Android, iOS, Linux. They still need to be able to print. Also, they need to be able to walk up to a copier and securely release their print job. They need to make copies, and they need to scan their documents. Now, for us to be able to enable that, we need to know who's actually standing at that copier. Also, we need to know who sent that document, that print job. That is where authentication comes in. Now, imagine implementing something like OpenID Connect on a 10-year-old copier that doesn't even have a web interface. It's not going to happen. Also, if you look at these printing protocols, it severely limits us to which authentication methods we can use. And that is where Secure LDAP comes in. Secure LDAP instantly unlocked us from accepting Google credentials at the time of printing and also at the time of print release. This integration has been the most requested feature in the 20-year history of PaperCut. So, I'm going to tell you a story about one of our customers who's already experiencing the benefits of Secure LDAP. Who here knows Utility Warehouse? Yeah, a few? All right. So for you that don't know them, they sell gas, electricity, mobile plans, and broadband plans. They've won numerous awards, and also 93% of their customers would recommend them to a friend. They're very successful, and they rapidly grew to over 1,000 staff. But with that, their IT infrastructure had to evolve as well. So here's a quote from Chris, Head of IT Operations. We needed more scalability, more flexibility, reduced costs, and simplicity. Well, don't we all want that? You know what's more important? The man behind that quote. Here's a man that literally had sleepless nights. All his IT infrastructure was located in a single building. Most of his systems relied on his on-site Active Directory, and over the years, it was assumed that all their applications had to be built in VB.NET to fit into this environment. That severely limited them to which tools they could adopt, and also when they had to hire people, they could only hire people from a very niche skill set to look after the system. So luckily, they already adopted G Suite and Cloud Identity and Pep-Cat MF. And now with Secure LDAP, they can sync and authenticate their users directly with Cloud Identity. I was actually listening in when Chris printed and released his first print job without having to rely on his Active Directory. He was walking through his finance department to go and release that print job. And I can guarantee you there were a few accountants that thought Chris is one crazy IT guy. Because when he printed that document, he cheered. But you know what? Chris is not crazy. It's not about that document. That document was a sign that his vision is possible. He can now start to migrate his other platforms over to Cloud Identity as well. And he has a reliable directory. One where disaster recovery is taken care of. His vision is, in the future, in the case of a disaster, that their staff can just walk over to McDonald's and continue their work. This is the story of how a protocol that predates Papercut, predates Google, unlocked customers from embracing the future. That is why Secure LDAP is the best feature Google released this year. Thank you. So I'll hand back to Vivian.
Thank you, Willem. That was a great story. So here are a few takeaways. So in a nutshell, Cloud Identity, we believe, is central towards helping you as an organization create a digital workplace. It provides you the foundation that you need to empower your employees, your customers, and your partners. It enables the Beyond Corp vision for the enterprise so that your users can live and be productive securely in a truly edgeless and a perimeterless world. It provides account security with multi-factor authentication and phishing-resistant security keys. It provides hybrid identity. So with Cloud Identity, you can meet your organizations where they are in your cloud journey, in your cloud transformation. So you saw the demo that Ravi did with Secure LDAP, as well as with tools such as GCDS, Google Cloud Directory Sync. You can actually sync user, group, and other metadata information from your on-premise systems onto Google's Cloud Directory and have a very seamless experience. It enables identity for all people. This is identity for everybody, for your employees, for your customers, for your partners, and for your contractors, especially with our new product, Cloud Identity for Customers and Partners. And then it is innovative and forward-looking, especially with technologies such as machine learning. So Google uses machine learning to protect all your accounts from anti-hijacking and account takeovers. We utilize signals from over 8 services with over 1 billion 30-day active users. So we have that power. And of course, with features like context-aware access, which is core and central to our Beyond Corp vision. And lastly, all of this rich functionality is available for you to try with one single and simple licensing model. It's a single subscription for $6 per user per month, and there's a special promotion going on right now. So as next steps, we'd love for you to try out the product yourself. Please visit cloud.google.com/identity. You can sign up for a 14-day trial yourself. It's available online. You can contact your friendly reseller and you can get it enabled through that channel. Or you can also contact any kind of Google sales rep and you can get it enabled offline. So thank you again for joining us today. We hope you found this session useful. and I hope you have a great rest of the evening. So thank you.